This is Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com, and my guest today is Eduardo Vargas. It's a great to talk to him. He's bringing more MMA to us. And before we get into the details, Eduardo, thanks for giving me some time. You just got off of a flight. How you feeling, my man? How's your emotions before an event, before we get into talking about it?
I'm good. I've been doing these shows for a while, so I get excited. I don't know if I get as nervous as the fighters. I get a little bit differently nervous, but I'm excited about these shows, and every single one, I take it as if it's my first one. So very excited, very anxious to get there for the weigh-ins tomorrow, and then Friday for the show. So thank you for your time, by the way.
Listen, since this is the first time you and I have met and talked, I'd love to know about your path into the sport. You're on your page, I read that you're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That doesn't happen overnight. So obviously you've been training for quite a while. What was your path from, youth to training and to now you're, promoting fights big time?
It's one of those interesting situations that this is the last place I ever thought I would end up, right? And it's like I love it. I love everything about it. What the sport has brought to my life, and the people that I've met throughout the last 20 years. I want to say I got introduced to the sport through one of the best fighters, my favorite fighter of all time. Gilbert El Nino Melendez, who happens to be my cousin. He's my younger cousin. So he actually got me into it. I had no idea what it was. Once in a while, I grew up in Tijuana, Mexico. So once in a while I'd see, like a pay-per-view from Japan, and, where it was like back in the day it was a satellite, right? And then, so it would be kind of like scratchy. I get to watch some fights in MMA. I didn't know what it was, right? And so then I found out what it was when my cousin got involved in fighting. So I thought he was nuts, first of all, for even doing that, right? I thought he was crazy, and the whole family thought he was crazy. Fast forward to a couple of years later, I made a move. My background, I was working in finance, believe it or not, and I was in New York, and I got the opportunity to move to San Francisco, where Gilbert and all the guys were. So I ended up getting to San Francisco, and I never forget the day where he picked me up at the airport, and he says, "Hey, do you have shorts?" Shorts and, a mouthpiece. Like, I don't know what I don't have a mouthpiece. What's a mouthpiece? Next thing you know, he got me a mouthpiece, and I was at Fairtex with him and Jake Shields, and later on went on to be members of the Scrap Pack. I was a punching bag for about first 2-3 years. Everything hurt. I smelled like Ben Gay. I was wrapped up in stuff at work. Explained to people why I was getting cauliflower. And then next thing quit my job and teamed up with him and helping him open up his gym and working aside him. And so I learned firsthand basically the whole sport of MMA through these guys, through them coming up in the rankings. So it was a free lesson. It was free college courses for me in regards to a master's in MMA and just being part of all that, And so while I was there, I was training. I got my black belt a couple of years ago under Jake Shields and Gilbert and whatnot. We're all part of the Cesar Gracie family. And so, I love the sport, man. I love everything. I've met so many people. Can I say in finance I made more money? Probably. But it's not something that's passionate or, that I wasn't fond of. And I can truly say I'm one of the few people that have followed what I've been wanting to do, and MMA has been great for me, and not only learning from some of the best and being around and participating in these organizations like Strikeforce and Bellator and UFC firsthand, while I was with these guys, but now I'm bringing all that to Latin America, and I'm bringing it to Mexico, and I'm bringing it with Nacione MMA, where I'm trying to replicate and create athletes just as the ones that I got to experience and grow in the sport, and that's the whole goal behind this, is to make Nacione as the biggest platform in Latin America to create these fighters,
Well, listen, you led me right into my next question. Nacione's MMA, I love it. Like I said, let's talk about your model, because I'm a fan of it. I mean, you're already saying the third Friday of every month we're going to have live MMA. Which, listen, I'm an MMA fan, so I'm like, fantastic because, you know, Friday nights, there's usually no MMA on. You've got the weigh-ins for UFC and then nothing. Then you're waiting. So if we're having live MMA, I'm in. So, but what I wanted to ask you about and that I really like, Estrella TV, your model now, not only you having Friday night fights, but you're having so many platforms. You're seeing a lot of promotions go into the pay-per-view streaming or streaming and away from cable TV. What was your thought into, you know, the whole ball of wax? Because I love that you're going to be on cable TV and there's multiple platforms streaming, Roku, apps, all kinds of ways to watch your fight.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, you know, I'm grateful for Australia to give us the opportunity. You know, it's we're a super young promotion. The team is not young though. There's over 15, 20 years of experience behind the team that is Nacione. It's a very small team, but we are a relatively young. We're going into our 7th show. We did 2 shows during the pandemic, which is when we launched this whole promotion. I had been with the previous promotion called Combate Americas, which is now called Combate Global. I was with them. I was forever grateful for the opportunity, and I was, you know, becoming their matchmaker. So I was their matchmaker, and I brought them to Latin America. Previously to that, they had never been into Mexico or anywhere else. And so I was very proud that I spearheaded that. I just didn't like where they were going on things. And, you know, I wish them all the best of luck, nothing bad. But I found I wanted to do something different. So I finished off my year and, you know, lo and behold, the pandemic hits. Some people, you know, broke and others rose to the occasion. I felt like I rose to the occasion. And I found out that there was not enough MMA in Latin America. So I decided, I reached out to a few people. My partner, Hector Molina, who had been a long time, he ran a show in Monterrey, Mexico called Combate Extremo, had been around for years, more of a regional scene. We both partnered up and we created Nacione MMA. And, you know, with both our experience, we're, like I said, we're very focused on creating this. And Estrella gave us the opportunity to showcase what we have, which I'm forever grateful. I mean, we got offers from bigger, I would say bigger without insulting them, networks that had been around for longer, but we just didn't feel that we were going to get the same love that we're getting from Estrella. And from day one that we talked to them, they were great. We hope to continue with them, you know, and whatnot. But our shows are available to everyone all over the world, not just, you know, not just in the US, but all over Latin America and even Europe. And that's what we want. We want people to see that there's talent in Latin America and be able to see how exciting the action is with MMA fighters.
Absolutely. There's a ton of talent over there. And let me just say, I was a fan of your work when you were with Combate Global because you had a couple local fighters who I've covered and become real good friends with, Casaida Adames and Zed Montañez. I don't know if you're familiar with them too, but they both fought. And that's my people. That's my people over here. So I was a fan, and I'm glad you're moving on to this. Let's talk about your card, because this week we have a card Friday night, June 17th, and I was looking on and give me a little preview of this card. It looks exciting.
So look, man, I have these young kids that are super hungry, you know, and that's what we're always looking for. We're looking for that young, hungry guy, opposed to other leagues that are out there. I'm not trying to sound bad, but I'm not really interested in the former UFC guys. I'm interested in what I've been set up to do since the beginning that I got involved in this, which was to find talent, develop it, and get it before your eyes. And so that's what we're doing. And the matchmaker that I have that works with me as well, Israel Guzman, is a former fighter here in Mexico, super young, you know, young when it comes to the sport, but he has a great eye for finding talent. And so, you know, we place our minds together and I have another guy named Sonny Lucan out of Texas who helps me out as well. And so we find these guys. And for example, we have a kid opening up the card. His name is Fabricio Escarga. He's fighting against David Fuentes. Escarga is the younger brother, Edgar Escarga, who has headlined 2 of our past shows. And this kid, they both remind me a little bit of the Diaz brothers, believe it or not, because they're like tall and lanky, but they don't give that idea that they're incredibly dangerous, right? They have like, you know, sometimes when you look at Nick and Nate, a lot of guys, they're like, oh, you hear people like, oh, they're skinny, the skinny guys. They're like, no, the skinny guys will pop your head inside, you put your nose behind your head, you know? And that's how I see these guys. They're out of Ensenada, Mexico. They're super, like, they're a lot more developed than I would imagine, right? And so that's what's fun about watching these guys grow. And he's facing a very experienced Muay Thai fighter, David Fuentes. Another fight is Emilio Saavedra and Liz Cabrera. These 2 young kids are in their 20s, early 20s. They're going to come out and bang. I mean, every fight that we have is going to come out and bang. I mean, even the Ivan Perez, who's the older brother of Eric Goyito Perez. I don't know if you're familiar with Goyito. Goyito happens to be a commentator for us, but he's also he gets nervous when he commentates for his brother. So his brother Ivan is actually the one that got them kind of all like started in the sport. And he's super exciting fighter, local fighter. The crowd loves watching Ivan, and he's gonna have his hands full with this guy named Alberto Sanchez, who comes out of Mexico City. Main event, we have Abraham Canavati, the 155er. What can I say? The kid, I originally fought him in Combate Americas, and he had a bad outing. And he had been texting me and telling me, like, hey, man, give me another opportunity, give me an opportunity. And, you know, we gave him the opportunity, gave him a hard fight, made it look easy, comes back. Now he's headlining. He's a kid that I think people need to watch out for in the 155 division that we're building here. I think it's very, very strong. I'd put any of my 55ers that we have in Nacione against anyone. I just think they're super tough. And the beauty about any fight that you watch in Latin America is, you know, people are going to plant their feet, bite their mouthpiece, and go to war. So, I mean, if you're a fan of MMA, maybe you don't know them, but it was kind of like back in the day when you watched Pride. You didn't know who anybody was, but you knew it was going to be brutal. And that's what I think you'll see with Nacione, is they're going to find exciting fights.
Excellent. Listen, once again, I'm with Eduardo Vargas. He's bringing us Naciones MMA the third Friday of every month, and it's going to be on Estrella TV and all kinds of platforms. You can see it on their website, their Facebook page. In this article, you'll see that I have every place listed where you can go watch fights on Friday night. I'm excited about it. Before you go, Eduardo, you have any shout-outs or love you want to give?
I just want to say thank everybody that you know gives us the opportunity and watches us. You know, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just polishing it up. So what we're doing here is, you know, hopefully people will tune into our fights, enjoy them, and you know, we'll keep following more of Naciones to come, because we're just getting started.
Well, thanks again for contributing to the sport and bringing me more entertainment, giving me something to do on Friday nights. Best of luck this weekend on your show. I look forward to talking to you in the future, my man. Keep building over there in Latin America. We all know there's a ton of talent down there, and thank you once again for all your contributions to the regional scene and making a forum for these young men. It's appreciated.
I appreciate you for the time and giving us that push too as well. So thank you to everyone.